Turn heads and bring the hype with a custom hype chain from Lotwin. Perfect for youth sports, fantasy football, or just flexing your pride. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD for 10% off your order. That's Lotwin.com, promo code TCCPOD for 10% off. Get your custom hype chain and get hype with Lotwin.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Same Philly Sports History for May 19th, 2026. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. We are still in the Outer Banks. New spot today. You can still see my pal, the fish, over my shoulder, but had some power issues. Needed to plug in. So moved around a little bit for today, but it is Tuesday. Means it's time for a little motivation / positivity. Brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com to see what they have to offer, how you can join today, and then be sure to check out their podcast wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We're proud members of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network here at this day in Philly sports history. And we're going back to our pal Clint Hurdle today. And I saw this and it really just resonated. And I think it's a good way to almost wrap up what we've been talking about the past few weeks. And negative thoughts are going to happen. They're going to come and land on you. Let them land, acknowledge them, and then tell them to beat it. And I like that because no matter who you are, what you do, there's going to be some type of negativity, negative thoughts in your life, no matter what, because life's not perfect. It is not perfect at all, despite what you might see on social media, people trying to pretend like everything's okay. Don't pretend that everything's okay. This quote is essentially saying, embrace the negativity, acknowledge that it's there. Don't tuck it away. Don't pretend like it doesn't exist. Acknowledge your failures. Acknowledge the challenges. Acknowledge the negativity, as well as the positive too. Like, embrace that. We've talked before about how nothing is as good or as bad as it seemed. And I think this is it. Like, acknowledge if there are negative thoughts. Acknowledge that bad things are going to happen, and then work through it. Try to get better. And this is life, every single aspect, job, workout, whatever. So acknowledge it, then tell them to beat it, and start thinking positive. That's the way it goes. So hopefully you can take something out of that this week. Your negative thoughts are going to happen. They're going to land. Acknowledge it. Tell them to beat it. And that is brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com. See how you can join and get involved today. We're entering the area of the year where there's not a whole lot going on in Philly sports. We got the Phillies, occasional news here or there about the Flyers. Obviously the Sixers with the president search, but we're entering full-fledged baseball season, and thankfully the Phillies are doing their part. They win again. Last night was a fun game to watch. It was back and forth. They kept battling back, showing that heart. Without Kyle Schwarber, it didn't matter. Boom, Stott both homered. Stott's home run was huge to give the Phils the lead, and then Johan Duran came in, shut it down. Phils get the win, their fifth straight. Andrew Painter looked as good as he has in quite a few starts. 6 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, 2 walks. What I noticed about him, though, could have been very easy for him to give up and sort of pack it in like, oh, man, here we go again. But he did. He battled back, and 5 straight. And the Braves finally lost, so they're now only 7 games out, which is good, but we're at 500 now. Now you climb back into the wild card. They're only 3 games back there, but I like that because they kept battling back. It would have been very easy to give up for both of them. both the players as well as Painter, but they stuck it out. And I think that's a sign of a good team. That's a game that would have turned ugly earlier in the season. So maybe they did. And I think it's time. We haven't done one of these in a while because of how the season started. Time for a vibe check. How we feeling? 267-495-8531. Voicemail, text message, whatever you got to do. How are we feeling about this team? I'm not quite there yet. I don't want it to be the Charlie Brown, Lucy with the football thing like it is with the Sixers, but hopefully I'm trying. Like I'm in the middle here. So how are we feeling? Hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Jesus Luzardo tonight as they look for their sixth straight against the Reds. We do have some Eagles news, and I think this is interesting and bodes very well for Howie Roseman and the Eagles. Apparently, and I thought this was going to happen at some point, somebody was going to do this. The Jags are now serious contenders for the A.J. Brown trade, whatever you want to call it. All that's going to do is help Howie. All you need is one other team to drive that price up and get what you want. So hopefully Jacksonville, would love to see A.J. go to Jacksonville anyway. But we'll see how that plays out. But it bodes well for Howie to be able to get somebody else involved in that. All right, yesterday's trivia question. Bobby Abreu, during that streak we were talking about, set the Phillies record for consecutive games with an extra base hit with 10 during that 2005 streak. Thank you to everybody who reached out and tried to get this one yesterday. Everybody went old school, or Schwarber was guessed a lot, but it is Bobby Abreu. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. Check out the Philly Hall, the official podcast of the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. That is out, as well as the blog. Didn't get a chance to post yesterday, but hopefully going to do that today. But most importantly, if you're a new listener, welcome. Spread the word.
Repping Philly ain't a choice. It's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one-stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh. Stay Philly. Philly Goat. Go Birds.
All right, May 19th. And just like there's not much going on other than Phillies, we're slowly getting into that period of time where it's a lot of Phillies, but we do have some good ones today. And probably the most important one on this day, 1974, Rick McLeish deflected Andre DuPont's shot in the first period, counted for the goal. The only goal of the game turned out to be the game winner for McLeish as the Flyers beat the Bruins 1-0 to win their first ever Stanley Cup, their first expansion team in NHL history to win it. It was their first of two straight as they would win it the next year. And then, of course, Bernie Parent, on his way to the Conn Smythe Trophy, was able to hold it down, make that one goal by Rick McLeish stick. Fred Shiro, the coach, before the game had written on the blackboard, "Win today, walk together forever." And to this day, 50 some odd years later, that Flyers team still is beloved across all of Philly sports. Fast forward to 5 years later, Phillies lose to the Expos 10-5 at the Vet. Expos hit 5 home runs. The Phillies weren't able to do much. But why are we talking about this? Because they wore the Saturday night special jerseys, the all burgundy uniforms. They said Greg Luzinski looked like a grape. And because of how the game played out, the Phillies said, nope, we are not wearing these uniforms again. And it wasn't until 2019 when they did a throwback night that they brought them back out. You've probably seen the pictures with Andrew McCutchen wearing them. But originally, they wore them on this day at the Vet, a 10-5 loss. Phillies were like, nope. The players were like, absolutely not. We're not wearing these uniforms ever again. Fast forward to 1985, and the Sixers avoided being swept out of the Eastern Conference Finals by the Celtics winning game 4, 115-104 at the Spectrum. Andrew Toney had 26. Moses Malone had 21 and 13. And rookie Charles Barkley, 15 points, 20 rebounds. Sixers would lose the next game. However, getting gentlemen swept, and they would not be back to the Eastern Conference Final until 2001. Still have not been back since 2001. So we're getting to the point where the Sixers don't have much as far as Eastern Conference Finals, but they avoided being swept on this day in 1985. And look, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. You've got to go down to the shore, whether you're staying for a week, just for the day. It can be stressful. Beach Caddy has you covered. Best beach carts on the Jersey Shore, the nice big tires. If you're staying down for a week, nobody likes to move in and get all sweaty, start arguing as you're moving stuff in. They have bellhop service. They'll move you in, move you out. And for this summer, they are offering this day in Philly sports history listeners 10% off beach cart and the move in, move out service. Just use the promo code Jim Montgomery. If you're staying in Ocean City, Sea Isle, Avalon, Stone Harbor, or Wildwood, let Beach Caddy take the stress out of your summer vacation. Get it started right. So go to beachcaddy.app, use the promo code Jim Montgomery, 10% off beach cart rentals as well as move in, move out service. And then finally in 2013, Phillies were down 2-0 to the Reds. They score a run in the 8th and then 2 in the 9th off of Adolis Chapman, who was pretty much unstoppable back then. Eric Kratz and Freddie Galvis went back-to-back to win it for the Phillies in the 9th. First time in team history, Phillies game ended with back-to-back homers. It's probably one of the few highlights of the 2013 season. That was the year they fired Charlie, brought in Ryan Sandberg, but Phils overcome a 2-0 deficit to the Reds, win it 3-2 thanks to Eric Kratz and Freddie Galvis going back-to-back in the 9th. All right, today's trivia question. Who was the leading scorer on that 84-85 Sixers team during the regular season? Had a lot of good guys on there. Had some guys near the end of their career. I mentioned a few of them, but who was the leading scorer for the 84-85 Sixers? And then finally today, our Philly connections, going to go way back. Casey Stengel, probably know him as 7-time World Series champion manager of the New York Yankees, but before that, he was a player. Wasn't a great player, but did play right field for 2 seasons for the Phillies, played in 153 games, hit .294, but of course he made his bones as a Hall of Fame manager. But he did come through Philly, played 2 years as a right fielder for them, actually played with a future Hall of Fame coach and champion coach for the Eagles. Greasy Neal and Casey Stengel played together, so I thought that was pretty cool. But Casey Stengel, our Phillies connection for today. On this day in 2013, Phillies back-to-back homers in the 9th to beat the Reds 3-2. Eric Kratz and Freddie Galvis. First time in team history of the Phillies had won a game, hitting back-to-back home runs. 1985, Sixers avoid being swept by the Celtics, 115-104 at the Spectrum. And our trivia question ties directly into that. Who led that 84-85 team in scoring? Phillies wear the 1979 Saturday Night Special jerseys for the one and only time during the first run, losing to the Expos 10-5. Players said, absolutely not. We're not wearing these anymore. And then, of course, Flyers winning their first ever Stanley Cup final on this day in 1974. Win today, walk together tomorrow forever. And the wise words of Fred Shero. That probably could have been the Tuesday motivation for today, but whatever. I like this. But remember, according to Clint Hurdle, the negative thoughts are going to happen. They're going to land on you. Let them land, acknowledge them, and then tell them to beat it. Don't pretend that everything's okay. Don't pretend that everything's positive. Learn how to navigate and deal with the negativity. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for May 19th, 2026. My name is Jim Montgomery. We'll be back tomorrow with an update on the Phils. Anything else Philly sports that happens to come up, And of course, it's What If Wednesday. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.